Hello everyone, and welcome back to TowerGate. It is TowerGate day number 580, 580. October the 17th, 2018. Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday. That's the day that I take out the trash and I have chicken. Every Wednesday. I take out the trash and I have chicken. You know, my friends, sometimes you have a bad day. We've all had a few bad days. Sometimes you have a really bad day. And sometimes you have a really, really bad day. Well, yesterday was a really, really bad day for Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren. In fact, I would say that yesterday, any hopes after yesterday, any hopes that she had of being taken seriously as a presidential candidate in 2020 are out the window. Done. Even her own party are face planting over what she did. She cut off her own nads, slit her own throat. Shouldn't surprise us. She's kind of like, pull the string, give her a good squeeze, and she'll spew out some sort of psychobabble. That's essentially Pocahontas. So let's go ahead and cover her bad day. Okay, so she comes out with this report that she thought was going to vindicate her, that she had this DNA test. And it showed that she's like 1%, less than 2% Indian. Of course, that all backfired on her. And that was kind of a bad day. But then it got worse. Because then we find out that the actual DNA that they used was not even Native American. It was DNA from Latin America, from Peru, Mexico, and Colombia. That means that we don't know what percentage of Indian she is. I'm pretty sure it's 0. But what we now know is that she might be less than 2% Peruvian, Mexican, or Colombian, Latin American, some sort of Indian. Who knows? Maybe she's related to the Aztecs. Maybe she's a distant relative of the Chupacabra. Who knows? The woman's a nut. Liawatha. Okay, then the day gets worse when we learn that not only was she not an Indian, not only was her mother not Cherokee or half Cherokee or even a quarter Cherokee, we learn that Pocahontas' great-great-great-grandpa was one of the people who rounded up Cherokee Indians and herded them to the point of origin of the infamous Trail of Tears. I remember my mom reading that book when I was a kid. She was reading the book and she would be sitting there with Kleenex, wiping her eyes as she read. What a sad tale of the Cherokee, as they were moved from primarily South Carolina, Georgia, and another state, may have been Tennessee, I believe. And of course, they were, rounded up and sent to Oklahoma. They became Okies. Now, you would think that's a pretty bad day, because at that point, she had already been made a fool of, thanks to herself. By this time, even the left-wing media was turning on her. Democrats in Congress were face-planting and asking, why in the world would she do this to us now? But it didn't end there. Because the next thing is that the spokesperson for the Cherokee Nation came out and said that Senator Warren was undermining tribal interest with her continued claims of tribal heritage. Now she's got a big problem, because now she has to decide if she's going to come out and apologize to the Cherokee Nations. That is a bad, bad day. Her political aspirations or any ideas of running for president are gone. She'll probably still get reelected in Oklahoma, despite the fact that she's a whack job. And I don't think there's any doubt that she used this fake story to advance her career, to get into Harvard. And she's been, she put out her little Indian cookbook using stolen recipes from a French cook. I mean, this woman's nuts. Thank God. No one would have ever taken her seriously as president, and had she run against Trump, she would have been just destroyed. Way worse than the rotten Reverend Clinton. Way worse. So she probably did the Democratic Party a favor, probably did the country a favor, but we really need to get her out of the Senate. This woman should not be in the Senate. I mean, that's a very, very, special body. Only 100 senators. This should be 100 of some of the smartest, the best, and brightest people we have. We cannot have someone like Senator Pocahontas. She's just too damn dumb to be in that job. She's got a lot of company as well. We need to clean that whole body, man. Drain the swamp. And that includes the Senate. But that is a really, really bad day. That's a very bad day. But it wasn't just a bad day for Pocahontas. Oh no. It wasn't just a bad day for her. It was also a very bad day for a couple other Democrats. Just a bad day for the Democrats altogether. The next Democrat that had a really bad day was the Rotten Reverend. Oh, that's right. But she has a bad day every day, does she not? Every time she opens her mouth or goes anywhere, anytime she is seen in the public eye, she's making an ass of herself. Just like Pocahontas. The Commie-Crats are they're beyond unhinged. I don't know what to say at this point. I've never seen, it's like the Democratic Party version of Police Academy or something. It's just nuts. It's like National Lampoon. It's like Animal House. It's like a cartoon. It's ridiculous. They're not even serious people at this point. I mean, you can't even look at the Democratic Party and look at these people in the Commie-Crat Party and even take them seriously anymore. They're a joke. And that's why they're probably, again, going to get their ass kicked in November. So it wasn't just a bad day for Pocahontas, of course, the Rotten Reverend Clinton. She rolls into town to try to save Senator Menendez, probably equally corrupt to the Rotten Reverend Clinton. He's a totally crooked son of a gun. So he's down by 10 points in New Jersey. So she rolls into town in her Scooby van, hoping to try to salvage the campaign of Senator Menendez. But in doing so, and you got to watch the video, it's absolutely hilarious. In doing so, she rolls into this parking garage, municipal parking garage. And as you see on the videos, is the Scooby van pulls into the garage and goes to make a turn, a left-hand turn to go up flight to go park in the garage. He smashes into one of the concrete pillars. It's hilarious. There's literally a cop standing like 10 feet away talking to 2 or 3 ladies. And they're like, what the hell? And I mean, the van is like, Argh! It just smashes into this pillar. Wasn't going very fast, but it was a totally solid hit because it stopped the Scooby van cold. And then, so you're looking at it, you're like, oh, that was funny. And you're looking at this big black Scooby van with, tinted windows, the whole 9 yards. And everybody's kind of looking at it. And then all of a sudden you see emerging about 15 seconds later, out from around the front of the van, from the Scooby van, you see the Rotten Reverend Clinton. Oh, God. Oh, my God. This woman is absolutely, she's a freak. She's a freak show, man. Oh, I love the Rotten Reverend Clinton. Oh, my God. But it was also a very, very bad day for Heidi Heitkamp, who's down like 10, 12 points by now in North Dakota in her Senate race. So she runs a campaign ad, where she names alleged sexual assault survivors. But as it turns out, a number of these sexual assault survivors said that they had not given their permission to be in the ad, and some of them were not even survivors of sexual assault. So Heidi Heitkamp was forced to come out and apologize to them. Now, she may be facing some civil liability here, because when you out someone like that without getting their permission, they probably want to keep that private. Or when you say someone's a victim of sexual assault when they weren't, that's kind of a slander. There could be some civil action coming following this debacle by Heidi Heitkamp. So things are looking good now for Kevin Cramer. Looking good for Kevin Cramer in North Dakota. I'm pretty sure Heidi Heitkamp, that was probably her last straw there. I think she's pretty much done. She voted against Kavanaugh. Then she canceled the debate the Friday night following the vote. And now this debacle. So this woman is a nut, like the Rotten Reverend, like Pocahontas, and all the rest in the Demo-Commie Party. The Democrat Party, whatever you call it. Oh, but it wasn't over yet. No. The Democrats are not happy with just having 3 major debacles in one day. They had to have a 4th. Claire McCaskill, whose race there in Missouri is looking like it's fading away for her. Josh Hawley looks like he's not in command of that race because it's always tight in Missouri. But his prospects are looking better. They're looking up, my friends. Because Claire McCaskill, of course, was outed the previous day by Project Veritas, where it was pretty well demonstrated that she was misrepresenting her position on the Second Amendment. Bump stocks, bans of semi-autos, the whole 9 yards. Now, in an effort to try and cover her butt on that, she was forced to go on TV to try to explain the revelations from the Project Veritas video, where she herself is actually caught on video saying, oh yeah, I would ban bump stocks, semi-autos, the whole 9 yards. So as she's on TV trying to clear up that debacle, she steps in it again. And she says, while making this response, she has a gaffe, and she says, "Oh yeah, well you know, knocking on doors is worse than getting a root canal." Yeah, knocking on doors, meaning talking to voters in my district, is worse than getting a root canal, or my state in her case. Yeah, the voters really don't like it when you tell them that communicating with them, conversating with them, associating with them is like getting a root canal. Not very good when you're lagging in the polls. Not very good. So I would say yesterday the Democrats had a really bad day, wouldn't you think? Claire McCaskill, Heidi Heitkamp, the Rotten Reverend, and of course Pocahontas. Absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this before. I've never seen a party this incompetent, unglued, unhinged, clueless. It's amazing to watch. It's absolutely amazing to watch. Never seen anything like it. Well, of course, Glenn Simpson did show up yesterday, and he did plead the 5th. But it appears that there's a little catch. It appears that he may be held in contempt. The reason being, according to the explanation Mark Meadows gave, is that when you come to Congress and plead the 5th, you have to say, I am pleading the 5th to avoid placing myself into criminal liability. That has to be part of it. In other words, you can't just come in and say, I'm not going to testify, I'm pleading the 5th, just because I don't want to answer your questions. Apparently, that's not good enough. You can't just say, I don't want to answer your questions because I don't want to. You have to actually say that you're not going to answer the questions because fear of incriminating yourself. And if you don't say that, then they can hold you in contempt. And it looks like that's what they're considering to do with Glenn Simpson, because apparently his attorney wasn't willing to say that they were pleading the 5th so that he could avoid putting himself into criminal jeopardy. So it looks like we have an issue going on there. So I imagine they'll hold him in contempt. I don't know what they can do about that. But it's just a matter of time before they get to this rat. And he told a lot of lies. We know that. Ratcliffe even said on Sunday Morning with Maria Bartiromo that he's actually in serious criminal jeopardy, Simpson. And he's probably going to jail right along with all the rest. Trump had a blast on Twitter yesterday, by the way. I'm sure you guys read it. And by the way, after Pocahontas had all that bad stuff happen to her, she went on Twitter and had a Twitter meltdown. Just one Twitter post after another. There's like 20 of them right in a row. She's calling Trump a rapist, a misogynist, how he abuses women. I mean, just all this. Said nothing about her situation and being caught lying or anything else. It was just a total anti-Trump tirade for like 20 straight tweets. Total meltdown. But now we have Trump, of course, having some fun with Saggy. Of course, we learned yesterday that Saggy had her lawsuit thrown out. And of course now it appears now that maybe it's Avenatti, but either she or Avenatti has to pay Trump's legal fees. And that's probably not cheap. I don't think Saggy has the cash. So maybe Avenatti has the cash. I don't know. But one of those two or both are going to be paying Trump's legal bills for this salacious lawsuit that they attempted to file, which has been thrown out. So now Trump is labeling Saggy, I call her Saggy, Saggy Daniels, but Trump's calling her now Horse Face. Hey Saggy, why the long face? Would you like a beer? Oh my God. Oh my God. I love Trump. I love Trump. Horse face. She does kind of have a horse face. I mean, I generally don't like to say that kind of stuff to women or whatever. They're kind of funny about, their looks and stuff. And it's generally not something you want to do. But then again, the places her face has been. Okay, well, let's just leave it right there. Okay, we have this idiot, Robert De Niro. He must be drunk again, because now he comes out and tells this journalist who's interviewing him. He says, I know who can beat Trump in 2020. Yeah, Robert De Niro knows who can beat Trump in 2020. And his answer, Beto O'Rourke. God. Beto O'Rourke's not even going to beat Ted Cruz in Texas. He's not even going to beat Ted Cruz in Texas. Beto O'Rourke. He reminds me of the guy down in Georgia. Who was the guy down in Georgia that they dumped a ton of money into the special election and he lost? And by the way, the Democrats have lost 6 out of 8 of the special elections, by the way. I forget that guy's name, but you guys remember a few months back we had a special election in Georgia, and they had pumped tons of money, and they were supposed to win that race, and he lost too. Yeah, Beto O'Rourke has absolutely zero chance. In fact, he's a one-hit wonder. As soon as, his political career is toast too. Just too many gaffes, too many problems. This guy would never be able to, no, this guy, he doesn't have the stuff. I've seen him. This guy doesn't have the stuff at all. I mean, the fact that De Niro's drunk again. He's 75. He's drunk again. He's a nut. Let's just ignore De Niro. Of course, Michael Moore thinks, who did Michael Moore say? I forget who Michael Moore said, but equally stupid. These people are dumb, man. I'm serious. We're sitting back looking at all this stuff that's been going on, and the fact of the matter is, man, these are not very bright folks, They're really not. They're really not very smart. You assume, okay, whether they're congressmen or senators or, they're lawyers or, Ivy League professors and all this kind of stuff. And you assume, okay, they got to be pretty smart. No, they're really complete idiots. Some of the absolute dumbest people, biggest idiots I've ever met got PhD after their name. Or the honorable before their name. So there's a Democratic strategist named Steve McMahon, who was on PSNBC's Hardball with Chris Matthews. Now, he told Chris Matthews something that I've been saying now since, over a year now. And I just said it again recently in a video within the last week. And that is that the Rotten Reverend Clinton has every intention of being the Democratic nominee in 2020. And the reason that she's kept herself out there since the 2016 election, she's never gone away. She's never closed down any of her fundraising organizations. She's never done any of that. And she's staying out there to try to keep herself relevant, but more than anything else, to squeeze out any competition who might try to move in to her territory. Because she still believes that there is no Democrat in the country, on a national Democrat, who can raise the money she can raise, can put together the political organization she can, or can poll as high as her, even though her polls are very low, generally speaking. She doesn't think there's anyone out there. And she's pretty much right. I mean, what do you got? Elizabeth Warren? Pocahontas, she's done. Bernie Sanders? I don't think so. Kamala Harris? Cory Booker? None of these people. Beto O'Rourke? No. There really is nobody in the stable. Michelle Obama? No. She's not even eligible. So, I've been telling people this, and I've had people say, no, Hillary's not going to run. No, she's done. No, I'm sure she's really done. It ain't going to happen. Hillary ain't going to run. Zero. No way. Even my good friend, Styx Hexenhammer, has written off Hillary. Hillary ain't going to run. Now, I pretty much agree that if they have a normal primary and there's actually 10, 15 Democrats challenging, the Rotten Reverend Clinton would not get the nomination. But people don't understand the way the Clintons work. Clinton right now is sending the message, do not challenge my power in the Democratic Party. Don't do it. Do not do it. That's why she's out there all the time. That's why she's sending these messages. It's a message she sent in 2016. Bernie and what's his name, Bernie was never supposed to be any type of an issue. She was supposed to put him away quick. And he almost beat her. And he might have beat her if they'd had a fair primary. So anyway, this Democratic strategist goes on hardball with Chris Matthews, and he says that people close to the Rotten Reverend Clinton are telling him that if Biden does not run, that the Rotten Reverend Clinton will, because the field is so weak that the Rotten Reverend Clinton believes she can win the Commie-Crat primary. Exactly. And this is what was in her mind the minute after she lost in 2016. The minute after she lost in 2016, this is exactly what went through her mind. My friends, she's clearing the field. This guy didn't just show up on MSNBC to drop this bomb out of left field. He was put onto that show to go out there and clear the field. This is the Rotten Reverend Clinton sending a message to anyone who might try to challenge her for the nomination. Don't do it. It's all mine. I'm coming back. I want my power. Don't you stand in my way. Take it to the bank. In Nevada, Dean Heller is opening up a new lead, a larger lead for the Senate race. And of course, we also have the governor candidate there, who's now opened up a 5-point lead in the governor's race. So things are really looking up in Nevada, a place that was starting to look like it was turning more and more and more blue. And suddenly we have Dean Heller, who's up now a solid 6-7 points. It was 7 points the last time I saw it. And now the guy running for governor, Laxalt, is up by 5. He was in a dead heat. He was actually down 2 or 3 points 2 weeks ago. He's now pulled to a 5-point lead. That Kavanaugh thing was boy, that was brutal for the Democrats. It really was. And of course we have Alec Baldwin, who just launched his new radio show. A show that they promoted the hell out of for weeks. On ABC Radio, no less. In his very first episode, the show was a bomb. I mean bomb. Finished at the very, very bottom. You can't get any lower than Alec Baldwin and his brand new show. Bombed on its opening night. Rock bottom in the ratings. Pulled a 0.4. 0.4! My friends, you could go out on the streets of New York. You could go down on Broadway with a megaphone and start reading the Psalms, Psalm 23, over and over again, and you would draw more than a 0.4 rating. You would. You absolutely would. I think the naked cowboy down there on who stands down there on the street and plays his guitar with a cowboy hat and his underwear and cowboy boots, I think he gets higher than a 0.4 rating. Maybe they should give him a show on ABC Radio. He beat Alec Baldwin, that's for sure. And they put unbelievable amounts of money promoting this for weeks. Alec Baldwin, what a loser. Oh, he's also recently called for the overthrow of the Trump administration. Yes, that's the authoritarian demo commies. That's what they're all about. Authoritarianism. When they can't win elections anymore, they just go for full-blown authoritarianism, communism. That's what they really believe in. What we're seeing here, Trump has revealed the true face, the true identity of the Commie-Crats. the demo commies, whatever you want to call them. Absolutely amazing. The following story is one of those. Go ahead and take a drink. I don't want you to spit your coffee all over your keyboard and your computer screen, because this one is going to blow your shit. Absolutely going to blow your shit, my friends. Go ahead and swallow now. And don't take another drink till I finish reading this. I'm not even sure that this is 100% legit. But it's on the True Pundit. And they say they got solid information and sources. Their reporter that did this is a former intelligence officer, State Department employee, has been in the deep state, has been in all the intelligence apparatus for years. Now is a reporter for True Pundit. And he is reporting the following story. You ready? Here it is. The United States hid... Let's try that again. Lost my voice. The United States hid Osama bin Laden in Iran for over a decade after 9/11. This involves the Bush and Obama White Houses. They worked with Saudi and Iranians to cut this deal to safeguard the terrorist leader bin Laden. This implicates Uncle Bob, the executioner, who was the FBI director at the time. It implicates John O. Brennan, who was the top intelligence man in Saudi Arabia at the time and was instrumental in brokering the deal. Maybe that's how he got the job as CIA director under Obama. They needed someone who could continue that and knew about it and could continue to cover it up, would be my guess. This involves the Rotten Reverend Clinton, who was the Secretary of State, including Secretaries of States under Bush as well. They were all aware of the plot. Bush and Obama administration officials, as well as officials from the Saudi, Israeli governments, and the UK, at the very least. Now that is a deep, deep conspiracy there. That the U.S. and their allies hid Osama bin Laden in Iran for over a decade after 9/11. And there's much, much more to the story. It's kind of a long story. If you want to read more about it, you can go over to the TruePundit.com. You can read it for yourself. Unbelievable. Well, one of two things will happen with this story. No corporate media outlet will, of course, touch it, including Fox. No neocons will touch it. Shapiro won't touch it. None of those people will touch it. Rush won't touch it. Nobody will touch this story. This will truly be in the underground. So if you want to learn about it, go read about it on the True Pundit. But if this story should see any light of day, oh my God. This takes the deep state. I mean, this takes spying on Trump to makes this look like, this makes spying on Trump look like a walk in the park, my friends. I mean, talk about exposing the 9/11. I've known 9/11 was a government job for a very long time. Known it was an inside setup and all that for a very long time. But I never thought this. This is not what I thought. I mean, I knew Osama bin Laden was essentially a Mossad agent, a U.S. intelligence agent. I knew all that. I knew it was a false flag operation. I knew all that. I just never saw an Iranian angle with the Saudis and the Israelis and all that. I just never saw all this. If this is true, this is ridiculously insane. And just, I don't know what to think about that. But there you go. I'm just giving it to you, folks. It's there. I don't know if it's true, if it can be corroborated. They say they have the evidence. They said they can prove it. Say they can prove it. We'll find out in the days to come where this story goes. Okay, let's try to finish up these House races very quickly, and that will finish off the House races. And we'll move on to the Senate, and at the end of the week, I'll make my prediction for the midterms. So the next race we're up to is the Virginia 02, District 2 in Virginia. We have Elaine Luria, the Democrat, running against Scott Taylor. This is currently in the toss-up category. Trump won this district by 3 points. Watch out for a lot of dirty tricks here. Of course, you got that nutcase, the Right Reverend Clinton, with her good friend Terry McAuliffe, who has a very corrupt criminal organization running in Virginia. They'll be throwing everything but the kitchen sink at Scott Taylor. And it's a toss-up right now. Trump won it by 3. Get out there in Virginia District 2. Save the House of Representatives. Vote for Scott Taylor in Virginia District 2. We have Virginia District 7, Abigail Spenberger against Dave Bratt. Dave Bratt's a very good man. This race currently is a toss-up. They're throwing a boatload of money in it. Spenberger, the Democrat, is former CIA. Former CIA. Don't want her anywhere near the swamp. We have enough of her type there now. And Dave Bratt's a fabulous guy. Fabulous guy. Love Dave Bratt. Really great. Remember, he's the one that took the seat from Eric Cantor. He's the one who took the seat from Eric Cantor. So you did it to Eric Cantor and you gave us Dave Bratt. You folks in Virginia District 7, go out and deliver again and keep that CIA demo commie out. Dave Bratt, Virginia 07, get out and vote. Virginia District 10, Jennifer Wexton, the Democrat, against Barbara Comstock. This is currently leaning Democrat. Trump won this district by 6 points. This is another one they're throwing a lot of money into. They're trying to win this race. Get out there in Virginia 10 and vote for Barbara Comstock. Washington, state of Washington. All right, my man Peter, District 3, and Peter tells me District 7 is in play. Very well done, Peter. Win District 7. We'll love you, brother. But now we're in Washington District 3. Carolyn Long, the Democrat, against Jamie Butler, the Republican. This is leaning Republican right now. The GOP candidate scored 51% in the primary. This is a winnable one. We cannot lose this one. Get out and vote Washington 03, 3rd District in Washington State. Washington State District 5, Lisa Brown, the Democrat. Kathy Rogers, the Republican. Leaning Republican. Lots of Democrats put a lot of money in this race. Go out and vote for Kathy Rogers in District 5 in Washington. We have West Virginia, District 3, Richard Ojeda against Carol Miller, the Republican. This is now in toss-up category. Trump won here in a landslide in 2016. Ojeda is out there campaigning like he's a Trump supporter. Don't believe it. It's bullshit. Vote for Carol Miller, the Republican, in Virginia, West Virginia, District 3. Then we have Wisconsin, District 1, Randy Bryce against Brian Steele. Bryce is a very good candidate as a Democrat. Blue-collar, steel worker type guy. That's the game he's running. We need the R. Vote for Brian Steele. This is Paul Ryan's old seat, currently leaning Republican, but Bryce is a good candidate. Get out and vote. Wisconsin, District 6, Dan Cole, Glenn Grotham. This is leaning Republican. Trump won here by 17 points. Get out and make sure we hold this seat. Glenn Grotham, Republican. Make it happen, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with more TowerGate. See you.